When the Grand National season ended last November, I was a bit disgusted with myself. I was so badly out of shape, I was almost ashamed to go out for dinner or to a concert or to anything. I decided to do something about it, and right after the NASCAR Awards dinner in New York during early December, I made the move. He gave me a nutrition program and recommended just how I should go about it. I was convinced this guy knew what he was talking about. He's the nutrition coach for Martina Navratilova, the tennis player, and look at her record the past few years. Anyway, it didn't take me long to decide where I wanted to go to get in really good physical condition. Fort Lauderdale, down here in Florida. I have a friend who owns a really nice boat, the sales incentive, and he made it available for me to live on in its berth at Bahia Mar Yacht Club, a beautiful place. My workouts usually began at 9:30 a.m. with a Fort Lauderdale area trainer I hired. I spent an hour doing what's called heavy hands aerobics. Then I'd run 2 or 3 miles before lunch. After lunch, I'd take a nap or sun, then go back to the spa for another hour of heavy hands, aerobics, a swim, then an hour or 2 of racquetball. Every other day, I'd work the Nautilus Super Circuit 3 times a day. I've got a cold right now, but even so, I feel pretty great. I've dropped from 185 pounds to 166, which is a good bit for someone 5'9" like me. But the main thing is, I haven't just lost weight, I've built some muscle. Well, that will help me, I'm sure, in the longer, grueling races. But more important, I think, is what getting into this shape has done for me mentally. My mind is totally right, real positive in contrast to last year, when everything I went to do seemed to get messed up, mentally at least. I feel good about myself. My attitude couldn't be more positive. Last October, I was getting so big, I had more chins than the San Francisco phone book. I grew a beard to make me look thinner, and it didn't work. Nothing seemed to work, and I knew I had to do something quick. I felt a lot more perky. I just felt better. I had more energy, a tremendous amount more than I had with my previous eating habits. I took his plan and I refined it even more. You couldn't do any more than I was doing to get as large and as quick a results. I got to where I wouldn't eat anything I hadn't prepared for fear something like salt, butter, or oil had been added. I would eat oatmeal for breakfast, no milk. I wouldn't even drink skim milk because it was too far off what I was trying to do. For lunch, I would eat steamed vegetables and brown rice, while I would have either lobster, stone crab, or plain pasta for dinner. In the morning, on the way back from aerobics class, I would pick up some freshly squeezed grapefruit juice. I would eat a banana during the day, but I wouldn't eat that much fruit. I was really sticking to the diet, and I didn't do anything to disrupt it. I guess in the back of my mind, I was becoming a recluse. I was getting totally away from it. I wanted no distractions. It was my program, and I was bound and determined no one was going to disrupt it. No one was going to say, hey, let's go get a beer or let's go out to eat. I just wasn't about to let that happen, not this time. Living on the boat helped a lot. I would get up around 5:30, pour a cup of coffee, and go on the deck and watch the sunrise. That helped to set up the day. A lot of the things I was doing made sticking to it easier. I needed my rest, and it just so happened I got it on the beach. I would lay out in the sun, and I got a really good tan. Everybody noticed the change. Some so much that they didn't even know it was me. Being with it every day, I knew there was a change, but I wasn't sure how dramatic it had been. I really noticed it when I put on my racing suit. The new one had not come in, so I had to use a suit that I had worn last year. It was really baggy on me. Right now I'm looking into buying a touring bus, a lot like the ones rock stars use. I'm going to make it like a mobile home inside and hire me a bus driver who can cook. While I'm outside practicing or doing what I have to do, he can be inside or fixing food the way I want it. Think a bus will enhance my program while taking a bite out of my checkbook. I'm probably going to have to spend around $200,000 to get something like what I want. I would rather my image be a lot closer to the rumor of what it is than what it actually is. I haven't even scratched the surface on how I want my image to take off. To my surprise, there hasn't been a word said. Well, Darrell Waltrip did say something the other night that came across negative, and knowing him, that's not surprising. He said he wished Tim Richmond would quit using racing to back into something else. The biggest thing about my image is I'm not married. I'm probably the only one in one of the top racing cars on the circuit that's single. But my not being married, you have this group of drivers that are almost offended. They like to pick on me and give me this hard time about being this terrible womanizer, when in fact it's some of the guys in the garage that are not supposed to be doing that, that are doing that. I have been taking some acting classes in Atlanta. I have not made any major inroads, but I would like to study it a whole lot more. It's a very challenging profession, a lot like race car driving. Unless I cut back to an 18-race schedule, it would be almost impossible to do right now.